Hello, everyone. X Walk Hill Bethelite here. And me and Onyx here just went for a walk. And Onyx has got this characteristic that a lot of puppies have. And actually, a lot of humans have this characteristic also, where he will run up to anybody. He'll run up to anybody that he sees. He'll trust anybody he sees. Literally, he will run up to literally anybody. And that's one of the reasons why I have to be with him. I mean, otherwise, you can have the puppy, okay, you know where you live, go on about your business. No, you have to be with them to protect them because they're so trusting. They'll hop in the car with anybody. So that trusting nature is something that for a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, that's how they end up in the situation that they're in. For a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses, they ended up in a situation because of just a very friendly, trusting nature where they would believe almost anything. And that's not always a good thing. I remember being in the car and we're in a car group for service. And multiple elders would say that if you put yourself out there, you're going to get taken advantage of. Like people in the organization of Jehovah's Witnesses that have been around for a while, elders, they've seen things happen to people who were just very trusting people and had really good intentions, but it did not end well with them. I can't count how many times I've been taken advantage of personally when I was being too nice or being too trusting. Sometimes, unfortunately, people can't even fully trust their parents. That's how some people end up in a cult. They just trusted their parents. They went along with what their parents said. And you have to have a sense of self, a sense of self-importance, a sense of wanting to protect yourself from harm. When I left Jehovah's Witnesses, it was easy, or when I left the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses, it was easy, and Onyx has got his behind for all to see. It was easy for me to want to protect other people. But having grown up as a Jehovah's Witness, I had to kind of learn how to want to protect myself and not just put myself out there for anybody that needed anything. Because I was definitely the person. I remember at some of my old jobs, if there was somebody that needed a ride home, there was something wrong with their car, it was typically me that was driving them home. If there was somebody that was stranded alongside the road, then I'm wanting to turn around and stop and see what's going on. If there's somebody, I've come close to picking up hitchhikers. I remember coming home from a Bible study, and it was somewhat late. It was probably like around 7. And there was a guy out with his thumb out hitchhiking, and I was close to picking him up, thinking, oh, I'll help him and I'll hand him a watchtower. And the only reason I didn't is because I didn't notice him until I was well past him. It would have been too out of my way to try to find a way to turn around and go back. And I actually did pick up a female hitchhiker when I was going through Church's Chicken. I went through Church's Chicken to get something to eat. And I saw a girl, she probably in her 20s, and she had her thumb out hitchhiking, and it wasn't the best neighborhood. And I'm thinking, this girl's going to get hurt. I'll pick her up and take her where she wants to go. Man, as soon as this girl got in my car, I'm like, who did I pick up? It's immediately, let me use your phone. I got to call somebody. She hinted on, do I have any drugs or anything like that? She worked at the strip club. She said, oh, if you come by, I'll give you a free dance. I'm like, who did I just pick up? I thought it was some innocent girl. Like, people are not as innocent as you think that they are. And that's the sense that you have to have. That's the sense that puppies don't have. That's why we got to look out for them. And that's the sense that I had to learn coming out of that cult, coming out of Jehovah's Witnesses. I don't know where he's trying to go. That's the sense I had to learn coming out of the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses. People don't always have good intention. People don't always have good intention. And if you just put yourself out there, hey, I'm going to be friendly. I'm going to help everybody. And that's, to an extent, a lot of JWs are somewhat that way, going from door to door. If somebody opens their door, come on in, then most of the time they'll come right on in. Bad things can happen. Bad things can happen. And that's one of the main reasons why I think pedophilia was such a problem amongst Jehovah's Witnesses, is that childlike mentality. That whatever this person gets up on a platform and tells me must be the truth. I'll just trust them. I'll just believe them. Everybody in this hall, this building, and this religion is all nice. They're all good people. I'll just trust them. That trusting attitude, you're putting yourself in position to get taken advantage of. You're putting yourself in position to get taken advantage of. There's some people who I've talked to that didn't fully believe everything Watchtower told them, especially in regards to schooling. I know people who are former JWs that something in them, that self, he's getting stuck. That desire to, come on up. Desire to want to learn, a desire to want to have a career. That sort of desire collides with that religion many times. And I've met so many people that they believed everything Watchtower told them except schooling. And that little bit that they had in them that would not allow them to just fully trust was such a good thing. It was such a good thing. There's people who are studying to become nurses. People are studying to become doctors. People who are studying to become all kinds of different things because they didn't trust Watchtower when Watchtower told them the end of the world is coming so soon that you really don't need to worry about investing in education. It's amazing coming out of the cult of Jehovah's Witnesses and everything that you think is a good thing can really be a bad thing. How can just being a very open, outgoing, trusting person be a bad thing, you would think, as a Jehovah's Witness? Just wanting to go out there and help all kinds of people. I remember going to the hospital to visit people that I barely knew. I didn't know them at all, matter of fact. I went to the hospital to visit them because I ran across them in door to door, knocking on doors, passing out magazines. Found out somebody had to go to the hospital, and the main reason they opened the door wasn't so much just because they were trusting and open like me. It was because they're worried about their surgery that they had to have. So that puts some people in an open state of mind. And unfortunately, that's where a lot of times Jehovah's Witnesses take advantage of people who aren't naturally trusting, naturally that way. They're not naturally just going to believe anything that anyone tells them. Well, sometimes situations in life cause a person to be a little bit more naive than what they would normally be. And that's where Jehovah's Witnesses come in. They swoop in and they're virtually trained to take advantage of them. If somebody died in your family, they've got a magazine for it, and they think that you might be a little bit easier to, in their mind, not deceive, but a little more receptive mentally. It's what we, unfortunately, let's just be honest. That naivety, that receptiveness that people have, that what you're telling them they think might be true, we were trained to take advantage of it. We've been trained. We have, as Jehovah's Witnesses, have been taking advantage of that for years. If you are born and raised a Jehovah's Witness, you've been taking advantage of people's kind-hearted nature and naivety and situations happening that cause them to be a little bit more searching, a little more open, a little bit more receptive. We've been taking advantage of that our whole lives. So it should be, not intentionally, of course, Watchtower does, but I don't think all the members are doing it intentionally because they themselves have been taken advantage of. So they're just doing what they're told. But that desire to want to please other people, that desire to go out of your way to please other people, oftentimes it's not good. It's unreal how good qualities can be bad. You know what I mean? Oftentimes I think, oh, I've got good qualities. I'm open. I'm out to try to help other people and put myself below others. Well, it's crazy how when you really think about it, that's not a good quality to have, because that's how these cults go out and get people. And that's the same quality that Onyx here. Onyx is laying down because we had a nice little walk, so he's probably a little tired. That's the same quality Onyx has, and it's not good because I have to protect him. He will run out in front of a car. He'll hop in somebody's car and get stolen. He'd run to anybody. He'd eat anything up off the ground. like, these qualities are not good, really. A person that's more, a person that actually doesn't believe everything they're told, that's a good quality. A person that does have self-interest, that's a good quality. A person that's not going to put themselves out there for anybody, that's a good quality. You know what I mean? A person that is, I've had relatives where around Christmas time, around now, I'd see people going door to door, knocking on people's doors, asking, can they do this and do that for them? And I noticed that some of these people don't have any tools. Like if they're talking, hey, can I cut your grass? They ain't got no lawnmower. So this is after Jehovah's Witnesses. See, before Jehovah's Witnesses, if I would have saw people like that, I'd have been thinking, oh yeah, I got a lawnmower. Let me go take you and show you where it is. No, afterwards, I started to develop some of these qualities that you're supposed to have to protect yourself. Self-preservation. And I remember calling a relative because I saw him. I'm like, hey, it's Christmas time. People know people have gifts. This is around the time people start, there's some desperation out there to want to, get things. Be really careful because people are out that don't have no tools saying they want to help people and do work for them in their yards and whatnot. And don't you know, I go to the relative's house, the relatives of JW, and sure enough, they done open the door, talk to the people, had to open some stuff up in front of them because the people didn't have no tools. They gave them their own tools. I'm like, they run off with that stuff. Then they left to go get money from the bank to go pay. And I'm like, I'm telling you, it's the cult. The cult. That cult preys on people's naivety. It preys on people's inability to see where another person could be deceptive. And eventually for Jehovah's Witnesses, after being in there for so long, they just don't even have that ability. They got to relearn that ability to protect themselves. I can't think of the word for it. You guys can comment down below and put the word for a person who is shrewd, I should say. A very shrewd person. It might be dark because it's starting to get dark out. And this is December. This is wintertime. You do not see any snow. Let me show you. You do not see any snow out here. There is no snow out here. This is wintertime. Look out here. Let me get my keys out. This is winter. You don't see no snow out here. It's December. This is December. Like, it's well into December, and I don't even need this little hoodie I got on. I could straight take this thing off. See if I can put this back up here without it. But yeah, no, this is December. So, yeah, this is something that we have to learn coming out of that cult, that religion, to develop shrewdness. You don't believe everything everybody says. People looking to take advantage of you. You got to protect yourself. You can't just put yourself out there in any kind of situation. I've seen just on the news in general, and it's not just Jehovah's Witnesses or ex-cult members. I've seen on the news in general. That don't really help. Where a lot of people who end up getting hurt or something happens to them, that kind-hearted nature. They had a kind-hearted nature. It's the person that is evil that don't have nothing happen to them. But then the person that has that kind-hearted nature, that's the person that has stuff happen to them. It's crazy. Let me raise the sunroof right here. It's crazy how that kind-hearted nature that kind-hearted nature is crazy how that gets people in trouble. Something that should be good. There was a story about a guy who was dating this woman, and the woman had a daughter, and the daughter was not his. But he had been dating her for a number of years, dating this woman for a number of years, and had grown attached to the daughter. Well, this story was interesting to me because I've dated people that had kids too. And I've done real well with the kids. I mean, I get along real well with kids for some reason. And get a little attached. And so I'm paying attention to this story. And this guy and this woman, they're no longer dating. They break up. Whatever happens, happens. But he's still attached to the daughter and probably to some extent the woman. Well, the woman's new boyfriend, something is going on, and I don't know if the guy did something to the girl or what, but she calls this guy. She calls her mom's ex-boyfriend, who must have been a nice guy. He had to have been nice Otherwise, why would he, excuse me. Otherwise, why would he let this kid that's not his call him at night about problems and issues that she's having? So he's trying to help her with issues and problems. He gets in his car, drives to his ex-wife's house to go check on a child that is not his. And the new boyfriend shoots the guy, and the guy ends up dead. That's a good quality. A quality to, okay, something's going on. This guy done did something to my ex's daughter. Let me go check on people who no longer have nothing to do with him anymore. He's just being nice. And that's what ends up happening. Now, I'm not saying, don't be nice. I'm just saying that from what I have seen, whether it be on the news, different stories, what have you, oftentimes that quality causes a person to get into stuff that's unnecessary. And it, to a certain extent, happened to me going to Bethel. I knew Bethel was a lot of work. I knew Bethel was, okay, well, it's going to take some sacrifice and whatnot. And I ended up going anyway. And then what ends up happening? Well, Jehovah's Witnesses end up saying, I keep fiddling around with stuff. Jehovah's Witnesses end up saying, okay, well, thanks for all that hard work. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you by, is what they say. So that same quality got taken advantage of as far as me, I'm concerned. It's crazy how you would want the nicest, kindest hearted, most open people. Those are the people who you want to be around and you want to have in charge of things. But those are the people who tend to not make it because they get taken advantage of. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. 937-789-4029. I'm about to head back. Onyx is back here. You ain't going to be able to see him. Nah, it's too dark. Nah, it's too dark. X-Wall Kill Bethelite and Onyx signing out.